Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Headlines. I'm your host, Jay, host of The Objective, and I just want to thank you for tuning in today to hear another episode. This one, we're looking at the joint address to Congress. President Donald Trump had a historical night while delivering this address. He hit on many great points. He maintained candor and cadence and eloquence of speech that seems to be foreign to what both you and I are used to. It was absolutely a phenomenal speech that contained substance, and it was very touching at moments, especially when he addressed Karen Owens, that is the widow of Navy SEAL Chief Petty Officer William Ryan Owens, who recently lost his life defending his country. And one of the things that President Donald Trump said that touched me, and I don't personally know Chief Petty Officer William Ryan Owens. I don't at all, but it just seeing the emotion on his wife's face, and she was crying and the tears were rolling down her eyes, and it hit me. And President Donald Trump said that his legacy is etched into eternity, and that was beautiful. It was really beautiful. He also said that the information that mission had gathered will be able to help them on the battlefield in the future. And it was really beautiful. And I just want to take this moment to thank all our service men and women in North America, and those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't thank you enough. I have a very special and soft place in my heart that really sympathizes with servicemen and women. But President Donald Trump, he spoke on many topics. And folks, I wish I can go into detail because I really want to, and we'll probably save them for another show. But I'll just skim over some of the topics that were touched tonight, or I should say yesterday night. Topics ranging from immigration and the enforcement of those laws, touching on the removal of criminal illegal aliens. Folks, oh my Lord, I wish I can go into this a lot more, but there are some individuals who sit on the left side of the spectrum who are offended when an illegal immigrant gets deported. They are offended that America would do such a thing. Illegal criminals, they are offended. We'll go into that another time because I can go on for days. So he mentioned strengthening the borders, which included the construction of this wall, removal of gang members, drug dealers, other criminals who are there illegally. All right. The government has three roles. Okay. Three basic roles, or all their roles can be summed up in these three pillars, and they are the defense of life, liberty, and the protection of property. If the government cannot do that, then the government should cease to exist. Okay, so why would anyone be against the deportation of illegal criminals? If these individuals are killing Americans and they shouldn't be there in the first place, like, I just feel like when you think about that and when you actually reason that within your head, removing all biases, removing all social justice tendencies, and understanding that there are American individuals who have died to the hands of people who should not have been in this country. Anyways, President Donald Trump spoke about appointing a judge that will defend the Constitution. He spoke on giving incentive to companies to stay in America because, right, I mean, at the end of the day, when you're a company, profit is what you are after. Okay, so these companies see profit out of America. There are too many restrictions on businesses in America. Therefore, they leave. Trump is saying, no, you're going to stay. We're going to remove these restrictions. And then now we're going to make a penalty. If you do leave overseas, you're going to be heavily taxed. Therefore, that works out for everyone. And it's a great incentive to get companies to stay here. He spoke on healthcare reform and injecting competition into the healthcare market. The health insurance market. And he also, a big thing that he said is that he wants to allow Americans to purchase insurance that are not, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not restricted to insurance within their state. Now they can cross state lines to get insurance. This is also along the same lines and parallels the spirit of competition within the market. He also went into, and I'll even say this, when you have competition in the healthcare market, competition keeps businesses accountable. Now they're fighting for your business. Therefore, the prices will go down and the services rendered will go up. This is competition. They want to keep your business. That's the incentive now. Do you understand what I'm saying? Before, when you couldn't get insurance across state lines and there was no competition, you'd have insurance companies that pretty much have a monopoly. There's no competition. Therefore, the service can be low and the prices can be high because there's no one to really balance. There's no one they're competing with. Therefore, they call the shots. But now with competition, they're fighting for your business. Next, President Donald Trump, he said, education is the civil right issue of our time. And it was noteworthy. It stuck with me. And he mentioned an education bill that funds school choice for disadvantaged youth. Now, I want you to realize this whole discourse that President Donald Trump did, it is embodied by, it can be characterized, I should say, by patriotism, bringing attention and prioritizing America. Okay. He said, I don't speak for the rest of the world. I speak for America. That's where my concern is. That's where my focus is. So this education bill, it funds school choice for disadvantaged youth. This again parallels the spirit of competition because now these schools will be competing to render their services to your child. This will help low income and middle class families. So now they don't feel bound to enrolling their kids into mediocre, low standard schools. Now with this education bill that funds school choice, their horizons open up and they have more options, more better and higher standard schools that their kids can go to. It's awesome. Just great. Moving on, he condemned violence not only in Chicago and high crime areas, but in the United States of America. There's been a surge of violence. Over 4,000 shootings last year, 762 murders in Chicago. He's saying we need to support law enforcement and the victims of crime. And it was great, folks. It was absolutely great. I can go in on this all day, but it really made me optimistic. And that's not just me, because there have been polls that were done and a majority of Americans felt more positive vibes and more optimistic in the future. A lot more Americans are feeling that the country is going in a positive direction. I think it was about 11% more than before this address, which is a great success. And the crazy thing is, folks, that there are people, and I've seen this on social media, people who will continue to resist and continue to hate and continue to have conversations that are characterized by acrimonious tones and lacking context and overflowing with rhetoric and hatred. And the craziest thing is, the thing that I just don't get, is that what these individuals accuse President Trump of, hatred, racism, is the same thing that characterizes their tone and the contents of what they say. They say he's a racist, yet they laugh at him and his skin color. I remember at that award show, I forget which one it was, where there was a performance and they were calling him Agent Orange because of his skin color. It's bigotry. They accuse him of being fascist. They accuse him of being hateful. They accuse him of being unapologetic, and they accuse him of all these things. But if you were to take time, you would see that the same thing that you are accusing President Donald Trump of is the same thing that fills your hearts. It's hypocrisy to the highest degree. And my only question is, where will you be found? What side will you be found on when the history books are written? Because I will say this right now for the record and on the record, that President Donald Trump will go down into history as one of the greatest presidents that America has ever had. Have a good night. And until we meet again, make it your objective to be objective.